All right. That's exciting.
All right. Does everybody have their cliff notes off to the side? I shouldn't say cliff notes. Does everyone have their Ethan notes?
That's a better way to put it.
Cliff wishes he was me.
Yeah, the Urallan
I don't think he
Liberation
does.
Plan
He'd go out of
tool,
business. It's not exactly his business model. We're going to provide you super detailed and in-depth notes to make sure you missed no detail whatsoever.
But this Cliff Notes book is longer than the book. Yes.
Yes,
Now you're learning.
including analysis, commentary, and suggested additions.
Yes. We just really felt like Steinbeck fell short here, so here's the addendum to Grapes of Wrath. Also, Kafka could have improved on this section. I actually wouldn't put Ethan past that.
Alrighty. That is cute. All right, let's see. So let's go ahead and get winding up to start. We had left off last session intending to decide whether or not to time skip to your arrival, which is going to be an alarmingly short time from your departure, as far as most of the party is concerned.
Oh, I'd forgotten that part. What is our arrival time?
Let's see. Let me take a look-see here. So you left the Iran system at about 6 a.m. standard solar time, and a mere 12 hours later, you're going to arrive in Anagras space.
Oh wow, only 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Is there any travel time antics that anybody wants to get up to within that 12 hours?
It's almost too short for the hamster wheel to get broken out.
Well, there's too many people for the hamster wheel.
We had also, Saoirse had also messed with the concept of a treadmill, remember?
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
It was smaller and more space efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember if I gave the verdict on that last session, but I think I recall saying something along the lines of that's a much more complicated design that would probably require multiple effort just because the hamster
Well,
wheel you can get away with
she
making a
was-
single continuous piece.
Oh, come on.
Well, that's what she
Treadmill
was
is
going to
just a
do with
squished
the
oval.
treadmill. She was just going to do an elliptical that Narrow's running on top of instead of inside.
That's flexible. Yeah,
What
I
do you mean
guess.
that's flexible?
Well,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
You,
I mean,
can't just spin a squished oval because then you're throwing Narrow into the wall.
yeah, it's kind of it
Well,
gets into some probably nittier and grittier physics and geometry than we really care to.
I don't know. Throwing Narrow into the wall might be cathartic for Saoirse.
do you know what Saoirse's gonna make? You know
Hmm.
that thing that goes in your protein shake, the mixer, that it sort of looks like multiple little half
Oh,
circles put together?
yes.
She's gonna put that, and Nero can jog on it and try and not fall off, and it'll be also a test for her to balance.
Oh, wow. Hmm. That's intense.
After 6 hours of being stuck in the room, because remember Nero is also gonna stay in the room, she's willing to give this a try.
Got you. Let's see.
I'm trying to find an image of it so it makes sense.
Are you? Yeah, I was gonna say. Let me pull this over. Uh, I just drag and drop. No, of course I can't.
It also just occurred to me that the tangible force construct is only effort for a scene, so Saoirse could totally make training dummies for Nero. She would chew through them pretty quickly, but it's you get it all back in 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
You're
my
talking like this
goodness.
thing, yo?
No,
What?
that is not what I made. No,
Oh, okay.
the
Hold
other
on.
one, the one
You're
that's
talking about
like
the other one. Yeah, I
Yep.
got you.
solid plastic.
So more like. Let me get this picture.
I
So
think you're gonna have to drag and drop this. Yes, like that. That's exactly what I meant. One of those.
So suspend that midair.
Just like a water wheel kind of thing.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
water wheel. Yes.
There's no way Nero can stay on top of that.
Say that's gonna be quite an entertaining thing for everyone to watch, I imagine.
Well, it's in our quarters.
Yeah, true. How many people can you cram into that small space?
And how many times does Nero crash to the ground before somebody comes knocking on the door?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say that thing's definitely plausible.
If Nero falls enough times, am I able to change the shape of it?
I think you'd have to replace it technically, but you've got enough effort to fiddle with. It shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see how well Nero handles this thing.
I'm imagining that this is definitely a dexterity-based exert
Mhm.
check.
Absolutely.
All right.
This is like running on a log in a river, but worse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, couldn't we have started with just having her balance on a ball like a seal?
All right. So Saoirse and Nero are in the quarters, I suppose. Doing this away from prying eyes. Is any, was anyone else invited to witness the spectacle?
Was anyone else bored out of their gourd?
No.
Yeah, if no one else was super bored, then unless anybody else showed up, then Saoirse would not have invited anyone
All
else
right.
in.
So Saoirse is the only one here to witness what happens next.
To be honest, I think Avery would be the only one who would actually want to be in the same room as Nero when it's obvious that she's going to be getting bored.
I
Yeah,
think
and
he'd be
he's
piloting though.
Yeah.
right. He's got other concerns at the moment. Um, yeah, and he's busy, watching metadimensional
Well,
calculations and
would it be fair to
recalculations.
say that we might have gotten Brother Nick and Cade in here to be discussing, like, our characters would need to at some point discuss this You're All in Liberation plan?
Hmm.
I mean, would you guys think that's feasible?
Definitely. Well,
I
I
mean,
guess I
I'm
don't know what you mean
asking,
by is it
like,
feasible?
Ethan and Robert, like, do they think we would have already discussed it, or?
I
In
don't know.
so
Thank
in
you, Robert. That was
character,
incredibly helpful.
who I know that out of character, Ethan has been masterminding a lot. Is brother? Uh, I imagine that in character, brother Nick is also providing a decent number of these ideas and the impetus for discussing and hashing them out. Is that fair to say?
Is Ethan there?
Whoops!
He's
I
on
realized I've
mute.
been talking through mute.
Oh,
Oh
great.
no.
So what did we
Okay.
miss?
Yeah, so I was saying, I think that would make sense. Probably, I figured we would have talked about this some before, but traveling on the way is definitely the time to be hammering out
Finer
the
details.
finer points, of
All right.
any negotiations.
And it flows very naturally for this to come about as a result of Nero getting bored while we're in this discussion.
For sure. All right. So, are y'all all right with Kate and Brother Nick also being there for this?
Sure.
Okay. Should we have pulled Tom in for this too, or?
You just want everyone to see Nero falling.
It's not that I want everyone to see her falling. It's just I'm trying to be realistic about who's involved in the meeting.
Yeah, that's fair.
You want to pull your token over here, Brother Nick?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I'm making the treadmill, if you don't mind.
We'll swap places. You
Sorry.
Nero that's hanging out over here,
Yeah.
leaning against the wall or something. While
Little
you're
weird
all
balance
talking.
thing.
There we go.
There is a chair there. There you go. All right. I guess this would also be Brother Nick and Cade's first time in the ladies' quarters. So, don't know if any comments will be made, but now's the time to make them, I suppose.
Oh, how nice and spacious they are.
I'm like, wow. Ethan might be muted. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Okay.
Probably
Ethan,
make the
not
real
Ethan,
call.
sorry. Benjamin.
Mhm.
I believe that Nero made the dexterity save you wanted her to make, or the dexterity
Yeah,
check.
she did. I was making sure that I didn't interrupt the conversation that was being had, but
Yeah. Just we're in the middle of discussing what's going to happen when we
okay.
land on Ural. Yeah, or not on Ural. Sorry.
When you get to the Anagran
Yes,
system,
when we get to the Anagrian system, yada yada.
I think
Nero's gotten bored.
Saoirse sees Nero pick up a tennis ball. She knows what's coming next if somebody doesn't stop her.
Yeah, I was gonna say she starts to feel heart palpitations.
just imagine
She's like, "Oh no, not the tennis ball."
a dramatic flinging of her hand. Narrow, no. And
It's
then
no, it's just that she's gonna start having nightmares about tennis balls going thud-thump, 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 thud-thump.
yeah, that's true.
I
So
hear a tennis ball knocking. Knocking upon my bedroom wall.
so what color is this human-sized blender ball?
Um, it's gonna be kind of like a soft pink or purple color.
All right. Nice. So it
I'm gonna say it's
materializes.
about 3 feet in diameter, maybe
Okay.
3.5 feet,
So
about a meter wide.
materializes midair in front of Narrow.
Looks down at it. What do I do with this?
What do you think you do with it?
She nudges it with her foot. Sees that
It's
it's
gonna
a.
spin a little bit,
Does it have resistance to it?
a tiny bit of resistance.
Okay. Alright, she tests out how fast it'll spin. And then slows it down and tries to climb up on it.
Yeah, the first attempt is definitely like she suddenly ends up dangling underneath it, holding on to it, uh, like hugging it, and has to try again, but uh, does manage to get her balance standing on it.
it,
Very
it
much active balancing required.
it probably takes a couple of attempts because after learning that trying to get on it slowly didn't really work out for her, she would go straight to trying to jump onto it.
Mhm.
Epic.
So
Yeah.
getting the balance of that has most likely, almost certainly, seen her face plant right in front of Cade and Brother Nick and Saoirse
Mhm.
at least a couple of times.
Yeah, definitely. It with that role, it definitely takes several tries. And uh but once she does eventually get going, she pretty much goes straight into it and actually manages to stay upright for say probably a solid 15, 20 seconds and then wipes out completely.
Bonus is that aside from the occasional thunk oh, and the slow rising back to her feet, this takes a lot more concentration, so it fully occupies her attention.
For 20 seconds at a pop.
Yeah, yeah. That's on a good run. Yeah, this was clearly not designed by someone with safety or usability as a priority. This was a quick and dirty, uh, give Nero something to do solution.
Dang, I
Now,
feel like
what are
my
you saying
parenting
about
has been
Saoirse?
called out on the floor.
Mhm.
Well, has rescued you from the tennis ball.
Yeah. All right. So, Nero slowly collecting more bruises, um, while Saoirse, Brother Nick, and Cade flesh out some of the details of their attack plan for the upcoming negotiations. And kind of like Danielle was on board with Uralian Liberation Plan step number 5 and 6. Although 6 would happen probably separately, doesn't necessarily have, they're not necessarily related.
Doesn't have to happen at the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone else going to have issue with any of the sub points of number 5? I think D was stricken, right?
No, it was just that it was kind of a hand wavy thing.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure everybody's looked at it and is on the same page about it before we move forward with that plan. So we have thumbs up from Danielle, presumably thumbs up from Ethan, being the writer.
I had to find the
Thumbs
document.
down.
Oh yeah. So looking at number 5, I think we're still just waiting on input from Dex, Robert, and Avery.
Yeah, I'm on
I
board.
guess for number 5A, there's 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Are those both things that should occur, or are we going one route or the other?
I think that's a both.
Oh, on
5A,
Negotiation.
1 and 2. I and II.
Oh yeah, I think a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, and I guess balance on what moves the needle for Anagris and Havario.
Right,
Yeah, I'm
trying
good
to
with
appeal to their morality and reason differently.
that.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Let's see.
Yep.
Cool. Sounds like that is good to go. Okay, I'm going to say it sounds like we are ready to move forward to arrival in Anagris. Going once,
Yes.
Hello?
going twice.
Oh.
Hello.
Dadgummit.
Hola.
Okay. I was trying to figure out what in the world happened. I was deafened somehow.
Oh,
Hi, I'm back. I can hear you now.
okay.
Um,
Welcome back. Technical difficulties abound tonight, across the board.
sorry.
I think what you missed, Danielle, was just us confirming Ethan's plans for 5, and then fast forwarding to arrival at Anagris.
Yeah, I was just giving the last call for any other pre-arrival plans.
Oh, we're good.
All right. So, did I catch that Cade? We decided that Cade and Ahmed would have been in the loop and then conveyed to the rest of the team the projection for arrival time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that makes sense.
We were talking about like them having calculated and done the math and gone like, what the?
Yeah, so
If they ask, we just have a really good pilot.
so yeah, it doesn't It doesn't quite surprise the crew, although I, I should say you expected it, but it may still come as a surprise that it was actually correct to some of you. But in a mere 12 hours, you all feel the telltale transition from metadimensional space to real space, and there is a stir and minor commotion on the ship. And let's see, who all is in the bridge? On the bridge. Of course,
Cade, obviously.
okay. Have Ahmed, Java, and Cade.
Cade on the sensors. And
Would Saoirse be there?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Um, so there comes a knock at the door, and Caldwell announces himself. He is coming in to ask what's going on and why you're exiting metaspace already. Looking moderately concerned.
I thought that's what we were supposed to do when we got where we were going.
yeah, we are here, Caldwell. And Cade will just point to the view screen at the front.
So he just seems a bit dumbfounded. So we completed the drill. It wasn't a. We didn't have to abort and return.
No? I guess I have to tell you thank you early for the really nice pilot. That's a good gift.
No, thank you for the ship. This is the best ship I've ever piloted before.
Caldwell has his gears are turning hard, and he asks. He turns to Saoirse and asks, "Where did you say you acquired this ship? Th- this was from. Was this from the Tabukan military?"
Aye.
He is not doing a great job of controlling his facial expressions right now, and you see a mixture of first intrigue and then concern and then kind of realization all coming together, and he just clasps his hands together in front of him and says, "Very well. I'll be readying the bishop and our entourage for a meeting with whoever we are meeting from Anagris." He shakes his head and just turns around and walks out. Um, Also, around this time, as you're getting your bearings in real space again, uh, you start catching the transmissions of multiple ships in the nearby uh, nearby area. More than before, it actually. There had been just a handful of ships before. You're now also getting a a larger uh, Oh goodness, losing the word. Trace, I guess. Whatever the appropriate term is. Can't science right now. There's a big old blip on your radar for
I think that the word you're
A
looking for is a
battleship?
ping.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
there you go.
ping. Uh, and the accompanying information indicates it's a small station situated close enough.
That's new?
That is new. That was
Huh.
not here the last time you visited
Ooh.
at
Well,
this point.
Oh my.
And there's um, a couple other. There is a battleship class ship, um, though the
wow.
the transponder is apparently indicating that it's just it's a stripped down hauler. Uh, looks like it could have been a former freighter or maybe carrier, but it's been
Huh.
it's it seems to be repping a bare bones complement of fittings.
So we've been gone like what, a week, and they have a shiny new space station at the jump point?
Mm-hmm. It may or may not be
Is
new,
Victor in
but
the room?
it wasn't there before. Um,
Yeah, but
you can call
still.
Victor in.
I mean, if Victor was in the room, Kid would look at him and be like, "Hey, you didn't mention anything about them moving or otherwise assembling a space station in a week flat."
Yeah, he would definitely be he would he would respond with a shrug and say, "They did not tell me about this station." And he's looking at the readout from the apparent freighter. This ship was not on our roster when I left. Not that I
Would
knew
any
of.
of us recognize it?
No, it doesn't look like anything that like any specific ship that any of you have seen before. It is pretty unusual. Most systems don't run anything in that configuration. Uh, hasn't really been commonplace since before the Scream.
Well, I hope that just makes everyone feel all sorts of warm fuzzies.
Oh, sure.
Is that where we're supposed to dock?
Seems to be the case. You also get you get a hail from get a hail from a smaller frigate class ship uh, requesting that you prepare to be boarded, have a cursory inspection done, and then to proceed to dock with the station.
I think Java would have asked that as a question, like looking for confirmation from, I guess, Kate or Susei, whoever's in
Hmm.
the room.
I mean, Kid's just
Captain
staring
Sushi.
at the readout like, what the?
I feel like Java would have picked up on that and felt uneasy about just like making the call to dock there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
If
I was
Saoirse's not in the cockpit, Kane will just like hit the comms and be like, "Okay, boss, you need to see this."
All right. She'll come to the. She'll come up.
Yeah, when she gets there, of course, I'm sure Cade and Java will both be like, "Those two things are new, and they're not small."
Nero will follow her.
I
Can
mean,
get
Java
crowded in
wouldn't know
here.
that, right? So, Funkade.
Yeah. So where do we need? Where are we parking the ship, boss?
Um, would Saoirse, looking at this, have any particular place that was just like looking the best to her? I guess.
I mean, it looks like it looks like a fairly standard space station. It's got a number of docking ports. Nothing. I guess nothing like jumps out at her.
Okay.
They they're not given they haven't been given a specific spot to dock yet. They're still watching the frigate that hailed them approach, apparently wanting to dock.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Broke up a
So
little bit there, Danielle.
Yeah. Sorry, my computer's trying to go to sleep.
uh-oh.
Can we tell what military or who this frigate is with? Did they identify themselves, or did I miss them?
I didn't say, but it identified itself as an Anagran frigate.
Okay.
And just like before, you're picking up on one ship each from Harvario and Loe Nuda.
Okay.
Everything else in the area is flying Anagran transponders.
All right. Then Saoirse is going to tell them to respond in the affirmative of the frigate, but also to let them know that we do have an Alien soldier with us.
Did you have what?
Shouldn't we let them know that we have Victor with us?
Yeah, and they would be expecting that.
Okay,
You just broke up. I wasn't sure what you had said.
that's all
What
right.
kind of soldier?
We would also mention that I think we should mention, but you guys tell me if this is maybe not wise. Mention that we have refugees on board. So to please not, uh, please come calmly on the ship.
Out of character, you're also carrying an encrypted message, data stick
Yep.
from the Anagrans on the other side, which
Right.
is kind of
Okay,
intended
yeah.
to be your hall pass.
All right. So should we tell them we have that up front or give it to them?
I'd say
I
just
might be
tell them.
Probably should
misunderstanding.
deliver it.
Who is it? Is it addressed to any specific like leader, or just get this to the Anagrians?
No, it wasn't. As far as you could tell, it wasn't necessarily addressed to anyone specific. It was just you were just told, give this to those on the other side, and this will, this will get you. So this will indicate you had our approval to come through.
Okay. So I'll ask then, like, say, of course you're welcome to come aboard, but we do have some refugees from Urala, and they are a little nervous. Would you mind if you take first this? Sorry. Would you be willing to take this as a good faith voucher, essentially, and send them the encrypted file?
Okay. Um, it actually resists. It doesn't allow you to send it that way, but if you mention that to them, uh, the captain of the other ship says, "Yes, of course. My apologies. I should have asked. We'll be happy to take that and review that before conducting any sort of inspection."
I thank them kindly.
Okay. So they scoot on over and initiate a dock with the ship on the usual starboard side, and they open up their airlock to reveal an apparent inspector along with a few bodyguards. But they stay on their side and uh, make make a a bit of a greeting and ask for the message stick. And assuming that's handed over, the the inspector plugs it into a data slab, um, goes to town on it, and then takes a couple minutes reading it over there in front of you, and uh, nodding to himself all the while. Uh, Finishes, looks up, and says, "Thank you, Captain Sersha. Like the boys on the other side were very thorough. You are cleared for docking at the station. Just be advised that you have a certain passenger on board who's just going to need to be checked at the station before exiting the ship, if that's required. Otherwise, she's welcome to just stay on board."
Who's a certain passenger required? Sure.
It's Liz. That was the one that they found in the inspection and mentioned to you.
Yeah. They detected
So
that she was psychic before you could cloak her.
and they're basically just saying she'd be allowed off the ship if she's if she gets checked in, essentially. Otherwise, she needs to stay on the ship.
Uh, okay. Um, do we have Boris on the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would thank them for the information, and then I would want to talk with Paul about that before leaving the ship.
Okay. Sounds good. Inspector will bid you farewell. They'll detach and let you continue your merry way onto the station. So, who do you want to tell, and what do you want to tell them?
All right, streamline. First, we talked to Boris and Caldwell about Liz, that she will not be able to leave the ship unless she checks in. My question wanting to be, do they trust Liz and why?
Hmm. Okay, so you're
Or do they
ba-
feel that she may be too much of a asset to risk taking her own mission?
okay. Let's see here. So are you asking if you're asking them about how much they trust her, are you basically asking so you're asking that as a way of saying like, hey, do you think is she trustworthy enough to bring on the ship or is she trustworthy enough to leave behind?
Is she trustworthy enough to leave behind?
Okay. Let's see. So Caldwell, Boris would be a little surprised at that question. Caldwell, not so much. Um, Caldwell would say that, as far as he's concerned, uh, Liz can be trusted with anything, and but also that she doesn't necessarily need to be on the station. Um, it would be could be potentially useful to have her. He says this carefully, making sure. He does kind of an instinctive check around to see who's listening, but um, says it would be convenient to have her for her to have traversed the station, but if you're concerned about what exposure she might have being on the station under Anagran uh, control, then he's willing to have her stay behind.
Saoirse would look over essentially at Narrow and ask if there's any reason we would need to be concerned about the Anadrians.
um, let's see. Wow, making me go all the way back to Fake Chris's game.
Did he say fake Chris's name?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, because
I'm sensing a
we
story.
know Chris. Chris is my best
Uh-huh.
friend, and so
Uh-huh.
when we found out that the skeleton, I think, his name was Chris, we had to call him Fake Chris.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
uh, Not out of disrespect, just he's not Chris. He doesn't even spell the name
Mhm.
right, so you know.
uh, Two
Um,
strikes.
I just remember the PMCs. And I think you carried that over, right, Shar?
The PMCs, the ones that
Private military companies.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Um, she thinks for a moment. No.
All right, so Narrow's answer would be no. Then she's gonna say that she's not worried about what Liz might be exposed to. As far as the Anagrians go, and she'd be happy to let Liz accompany them on board.
Okay. Caldwell nods in approval, and he says that depending on how many the they decide to allow into this whatever this meeting is that you're gonna have, um, he would like he and the bishop um, and Boris are necessary to have in the meeting. Um, and he's got a couple staffers that he'd like to have to help take notes, but um, other than that, um, he
Do
he's
I have to be there? Nara looks over at Saoirse.
Saoirse would look at her for a second, and then she just yeah, I did do.
Ever so slight of an eye roll. I'll go get dressed.
Boris looks very concerned when Saoirse says yes,
Put
but
on your
he
bouncer clothes. You know, the red suit. You look intimidating.
Nero pauses, looks back, a slight smile. Really?
Saoirse nods. Tries to do so convincingly.
Yes. And she goes and puts on her favorite clothes.
I feel like we need a separate channel for character outfits
Outfits.
that have been like
Reoccurring.
that were specifically picked out and chosen for certain occasions. I feel like that would be nice to have those all easily to hand.
It'd be really nice if you got our Roll20 page free of licensed material so that we could just put it up there.
Yeah, true, although then we'd have to make sure whatever outfits we have are also free of license material and
I do have to say, Danielle, that that is not a small ask.
I know. I'm aware.
Yeah, in fact, I'm fairly
Maybe what we
sure.
need to do is send it to Dex so he can pop up those little outfit Google image searches, whatever.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to check. I very well might even have to. I'm pretty sure our starship uh, is somebody's. I don't know that it's not that it's licensed necessarily, but it's somebody's art that they put out for people to use. I don't know how they'd feel about it being out though. But anyway, yeah, that's
Oh
a
no.
whole that's a whole
Sorry. I didn't
conversation.
even mean to open that can of worms.
That's okay. All I'll say on that is I'm definitely open to that. I would just probably ask for some legwork and help from some others of the group to kind of divvy up some of the art and vet stuff.
What about, just as a quick alternative suggestion, um, if we just create a pin board and then someone can link it in the Twitch chat if there are viewers to click it and want to see.
That's fair.
Rue.
Cool.
I just realized I clicked your channel, but I wasn't actually watching.
Wow, how rude.
Wasn't accruing channel points. Garbage.
Oh no.
Gotta get big brained like me.
Mm-hmm.
Always accruing channel points.
Yeah, I gotta get those message highlights.
Mhm. Those sweet, sweet message highlights.
Oh
By the way,
yeah.
if you're concerned about multiple of you in one household eating up bandwidth that may go towards voice, I don't know if you've already done this, but you can force Twitch uh, to send this to you at like 180.
Oh, interesting.
I think the lowest quality it goes is 360 actually, but still.
It's actually 160, which is
160.
completely unreadable actually.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I can't even read the Discord names, I don't think.
Yeah. No, that's just a little trick to save bandwidth
It's a
if you
good
need to.
plan. Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. We're usually okay because we've got pretty good. But anyway, we digress yet again. All right, so back on track. Narrow is going and getting spruced up for the meeting. Um,
I guess Saoirse would also make sure she's presentable so she can
um,
maybe garner some modicum of respect.
so I guess have you guys sent a message ahead, basically with the same? Um, there was presumably something mentioned in the inspection report about the fact that you guys had some refugees representing Uralans that wanted to meet with their leader, with the Anagran leader. 'Cause I think you guys, that was kind of your angle for getting back to Anagras. Um, would you want to have sent any message along or ahead as well? Or just let that report speak for itself?
Um, I'm actually not sure what you're asking.
Mm.
Sorry.
Can you rephrase?
Yeah.
Um, was there any message you wanted to send to the station yourselves, introducing yourselves or requesting a meeting? Um, or are you letting the message the Anagrans sent across in your hands
Oh, I
serve?
gotcha. Basically, how are we asking the general or whoever's in command here to meet with us?
Yeah, but basically, are you starting something, or are you kind of waiting to hear back from them what they say about the message?
I think we should be proactive,
I
especially
was
since we don't know what they put in that message.
gonna say the same thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Any objections?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
1 second, guys.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. I just had apparently been sitting at a bad angle or something this whole time because my lower back decided to go, Kya! You're 30! Feel the pain!
All right, so Brother Nick is um feverishly typing up a message to send, or are you guys doing an audio message? Are you calling them up?
Oh, I thought we were docked already, and we're just gonna chat face to face. But
Yeah,
yeah, I guess
you
we can
could
do a message.
you could do that as well. You could wait until you dock and then just you know, whoever greets you at the airlock, convey your request for a meeting with a representative from Anagras.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Ethan doing the work on the Pinterest.
Yeah, sorry. You asking particular message?
Yeah, if you guys want to get really specific with it, or do you want to just kind of leave it vaguely? We'd like to have a meeting.
Um, what do y'all think of, I guess, starting to, or letting them know we have some high level Urolans who we're hoping to meet with some of the Anagrian leaders.
Not just an Agrian. Don't we want Havario here too?
Oh
Basically.
yeah, also Havario.
Yeah, basically we want a meeting of the local powers.
Yeah, I was saying that they'd like to discuss things with all the powers involved in the blockade.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to open it up. It lets them know that we're not just coming over for tea and crumpets.
Tea and crumpets are appreciated.
Tea and crumpets would definitely be appreciated. Minus the tea is fine.
How
And-
dare you?
and it doesn't give them too much information. You know, none of these characters have actually seen Nero on caffeine.
Oh, stars above.
She hasn't needed any, to be honest.
she doesn't, and she doesn't like caffeine, so she actually ignores all the sodas and stuff. Actually, she actually ignores sodas. Period. Oddly enough, but thankfully nobody has brought in like a caffeinated Snickers bar.
Yeah, that would be dangerous.
I'm sure Kate will dig up a caffeinated Twinkie somewhere.
Just torture everyone.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe if Saoirse is particularly rude to him one of these days, he'll slip it to Nero right before everyone's going for lights out. Hey, Nero, I got you a bedtime snack.
Just as a quick aside, before we actually get all gussied up, well, not gussied up, but all ready to go over, Nero does try and drag Avery off again.
Oh no.
Not Avery, I'm sorry, Java. She
Out of character. Oh no.
She reaches through the screen and grabs him by the collar.
Oh no.
Make Java give Nero chocolate.
Oh dear.
I don't know that Java has chocolate.
Chocolate rice cakes.
Oh, yeah, he does have that.
Yeah. This time she's trying to drag him to the turret.
All right. Yeah, he's coming along, I guess. He knows what this is about.
No, my word.
Oh boy.
And she'll put something in front of the door so that it hitches when it tries to, if it were to try and open up from the outside.
Hopefully the bishop doesn't notice.
So when she opens the door and steps in, she hears kind of the creaking of the seat from above.
Oh no.
Looks up to see Victor leaning over and looking down. Nero, come to see me.
No.
Oh, well,
Is she like grasping Java by the wrist or something and
Yes.
like dragging him behind her?
Victor, could we have the room? We're not allowed to do this in the armory anymore.
This doesn't help.
he just stares, slow blinks about 3 times.
I think shortly after that, they hear like a pounding at the closed turret door. Says, Nero, you open that door right now, young woman.
We're not done.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, to be fair,
And
we
you
haven't
hear the
started
thud of
yet.
his kanabo.
Oh my word.
Victor raises his voice a little bit and asks Nero, "Did you take something from Brother Nick?"
Oh no,
No.
now Victor is involved.
No.
Their Nick's
Okay.
mind is spinning.
Well, you're going to need to get out of the way. Let me down. Let's talk about this.
We only
But
need about, I don't know, 3-5 minutes at the most.
enough, enough. You don't need to tell me anymore. He's coming down the ladder, but there's like barely room for the two of you to stand next to
Yeah.
each other at the bottom already. So him coming down, there's not
Means that we
no
have to
way.
open
There's
the door.
yeah. You basically have to open the door and get out to let him out.
Nero opens the door and faces Nick.
Nick sees Victor's one of Victor's boots on the rung around her head level.
Disappointed, Nero looks over at Java. We'll have to do it later.
I mean, okay, fine.
um, so are they leaving at this point?
Yeah. With brother Nick not unless Ethan you wanted brother Nick to say a few words to them.
Oh no, I think this had him near apoplectic.
Yeah, if he doesn't stop them, then Nero goes over to the door and assumes the position that she will be needing to be in, at least until we walk out it. I'm assuming this was all like maybe 5, at the most 10 minutes before we actually get on the station and go on board.
Okay. Yeah, Victor is just looking very bewildered at brother Nick.
I think he stalks off, muttering something about getting a bell for those two.
Did he say belt or bell?
Bell.
So we can tell where they are.
Hmm.
All right.
I don't see
Okie
what the
dokie
big
then.
deal is.
Nera shakes her head, now annoyed and hungry.
Unfortunate.
A very unfortunate combination.
I guess I'll go help Doc.
Nero watches him go longingly.
All right, so
I'm so thankful that Saoirse didn't like witness any of that.
uh, docking is the docking goes off without a hitch, and you all are ready to board the station and go to your meeting. Caldwell and the bishop, along with Boris, are all readied up, um, along with Liz and a couple of aides. And I'm guessing you guys are bringing along the entire crew. Um, as well as Victor and Tom. What about Ahmed?
I think he would be valuable to have along, just because of I mean he was a son of glory. A sons of glory? How does that pluralize? He was a son
Well,
of glories.
yes.
I mean, how does that?
How does it singularize? The way you'd expect a son of glory.
Well, but the proper name is sons of glory.
Yeah, a member of the Sons of Glory, but it's just long and clunky.
A
Thanks,
former
English.
member of the Sons of Glory.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Proud Boys. A singular one would be a Proud Boy.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that.
I doubt they've really, put that and made that decision.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That is not something we probably need to explore on stream, though.
Nope. That is not an important grammatical distinction.
I was just
Oh,
being silly.
that's fine. So you guys are bringing everybody along. And as I recall, Saoirse had agreed to let Tom come in his natural state this time. Correct?
He had last time as well, I think.
So he had on Urala. She had managed to convince him to let her disguise him for the inspection on
Yeah.
the Uralan side. Uh, but I, but he basically made her agree that she'd let him go au natural the next time.
No? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yes, we
now.
can hear you again.
No. Yeah.
Boo.
When was the last time you heard me?
Oh,
Oh
man.
boy.
No, you're good. You're good.
Good question.
Um.
Ben's
Uh,
like, when was the last time we went on a date before we got married?
Oh, oh.
Disruption.
Ooh.
guys, excuse me while I stop, drop, and roll.
Yep. Better call the fire department. Your house is on fire.
Only make that joke because we went on a date today.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm back, everyone. No,
Did you bring the aloe vera?
no, nothing. Nothing too severe. I think I'll be okay. Only barely, though. All right. um, Let me think. Backtrack momentarily. I think you had said that you were glad Saoirse wasn't there to witness any of the all the interaction between Nero, Java, and Brother Nick.
I think that is the last time we heard you.
Awesome. Oh, so you missed my scathing comment about some people not deserving any more airtime or brain space than they've already sucked up in this world. So,
Apparently so. Who was that regarding?
Proud Boys.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
got you.
For a second there, I was like, what did we do?
Doing some, but I
Segues.
was like, yeah, she's coming in hot over Nero and Java.
No. Not narrow in
man.
Java for sure.
Yeah,
It
agreed.
was when something was said about us not needing to
Yeah,
decide this on stream.
Yeah,
fair
true.
enough.
So, the entire procession is posted up uh, at the airlock, getting ready to make your way. Did you? Let's see. I'm already forgetting. Did you guys decide to send a message ahead, or you're just gonna go ahead
Yes.
and? Okay.
We sent a message saying that we need a meeting of basically the local powers,
Okay.
and we're
Did
going to
you?
surprise Tom is one of those local powers.
Okay.
I think. I mean, I don't know.
All right. So Tom will be a surprise to surprise introduction.
But yes, we also did I distinctly remember that being a very poignant point between Saoirse and Tom, being like, "Yep, she did say he could go all natural next time." And I'm just picturing a Jim Carrey face, like, "Yes, I said that." Can't hear you if you're talking, Danielle.
It's okay. I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Good looking out. All right, so you all begin exiting the ship, and you're passing through basically a what looks like a kind of a pop-up security checkpoint at the end of the little gantry, and uh, everyone is being basically signed in, and they are. I probably should have mentioned this before. Um, they are requesting no weapons be brought onto the station.
Oh,
Oh.
Can I get away with my staff?
uh, if you want to play up being old and needing it, we can give that a go. Give
Always
me
worth a shot.
give me a perform check.
I've committed to the bit so far.
Yeah.
Nero looks at Saoirse. "I'm your bodyguard. Do I get an exemption?" Or sorry, that's too big. "I'm your bodyguard. Do I get to carry?"
Saoirse's gonna look at the people asking for all the weapons. Well,
The guy running the check looks over at the person taking notes. They step aside and confer quietly for a moment. They give you kind of a one moment gesture. One of them steps away, pulls out his radio, and has a short conversation over it. Uh, he comes back and says, exceptions can be made for heads of state and captains of ships can have one bodyguard each. That's the best I can do. Sorry.
She only needs one.
And he also continues. Gonna be limited to stun batons. Uh, simple, uh, simple melee arms and avoid carbines.
Did he say simple melee arms?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know if that includes monoblade sword, but Nero thinks that includes monoblade sword.
As she adjusts her complement of weapons. He gives her a look as she comes up, presents herself to go through the little scanner. He says, he kind of looks over at Saoirse, uh, having who's indicated herself as a captain of the ship, um, and I guess we're presuming has designated Nero as the one bodyguard she's taking. He says, "Let me spell it out for you a little more clearly," and he explains, "No monoblade swords, sorry. It's going to be basically small primitive weapons, which would basically be like belt knives, uh,
All right.
daggers, and the like."
Nero
Um,
disarms her thermal knife and the monoblade sword. Does have 2 stun batons.
okay, and you guys would actually have a couple of void carbines in the armory if you wanted to bring one along for Nero. Caldwell is he's indicating himself as the bodyguard for the bishop and bringing one along.
Oh, I guess talk to him about that. Saying, are you planning to go as the bodyguard? I figured you'd have a seat at the table as much as anyone else.
Uh, he chuckles at that. They never said I couldn't pull double duty. Uh, assume they're allowing bodyguards in. Maybe not with weapons, but fine. I'll hand it off if I need to. He gives it a pat. Something about it just makes me feel more comfortable, though.
Yeah, I'll nod at that and say, understandable.
All right, let me see here.
I tried to find that like red velvet suit from forever ago for Nero. I could not find it. So apologies.
I might have saved. Well, I haven't been great at organizing the pictures that I saved.
um, as Brother Nick steps up, the the guy gives him a look, and he nods at one of the assistants there and says, "Apologies, sir. Let us hold that for you while you come on through."
Is he going through like a metal detector?
It's yeah, it's basically what everybody's been going through just to check for weapons and stuff. It's a little more fancy than sophisticated than that, but yeah, that's the gist of it. Um, 'Cause you'll have to leave that behind. I'm sorry, it's a little too large to fit the definition of small.
Do you guys have a replacement cane for the old man? Or are you just mugging the elderly as they go through?
He raises
Brother
an
Nick will take an unsteady step and say, you wouldn't part an old man from his walking stick.
Saoirse's gonna look really cross at them.
This guy folds his arms, and just fixes Saoirse and Brother Nick alternately with a deadpan stare.
Ah, To look like that, I'm guessing you worked in retail. She's gonna.
He he allows a small smirk.
Yeah, so at that, Brother Nick will drop the act, stand up to his full height, and hand him the stick.
the the guy follows him with the small grin and gives him a nod.
Good job with a fair pair of eyes.
Thank you. uh, and everyone else is passing through, and then the inspector catches wind of Tom.
Mm-hmm. I would have wanted Tom to stay close to me.
Okay. Well, we'll say he's coming through along with Saoirse. Um, he does a double take, looks pretty uncomfortable, and says, "No, hold it right there, ma'am.
I do believe he
That
prefers sir.
I was." He he glances at Tom, but then quickly back to Saoirse. Um, I was addressing you. Uh, this was not included in the report, and you seem to have failed to mention anything about a non-human. There's the obvious question in his voice. Passenger?
Tom here is our guest, and part of the very important information that we have for the heads of state who are going to be in this meeting, whom you are in the way of. If you
His
feel the need to accompany with us, that's fine.
his hand's still outstretched. He seems to have kind of forgotten about it, and he's reaching at his waist for his radio.
Saoirse,
And
seeing him reach at his waist, is going to take a step in between him and Tom. Not sure if it's like he's thinking of tasing Tom or something. It's really stupid.
Yeah.
She can't tell.
Got you. Yeah, no, he'll unclip the radio and still watching the two of them uh, kind of stumble over his words for a moment and then eventually collect himself with a deep breath.
Tell them that he's part of the envoy here to share important information about Tabuk and their actions.
Uh, yes, of course. I'll convey that. Just give me one moment. And as he turns away to to click on the radio, you hear him just mutter under his breath, "I do not get paid enough for this."
You ever feel like getting paid more? We got a nice ship. Offer a pretty good starting salary.
He just shoots back a glare, and then
She's going to be examining her fingernails. And if he glares at her, she'll just give him a wink.
All right, so he has another brief but heated discussion over the radio, and comes back, clipping it again at his waist. Yeah, come on through. You're, of course, responsible for him and whatever he does. Same rules apply for weapons. And Yeah. And he'll just watch Tom and seeing basically eye contact from Tom, he'll give him a nod and say, "Welcome aboard our ship." He'll
Saoirse will
then
nod.
he'll give a very visible start and then say, uh, telepath too. And he's stumbling over words again. And the one of the assistants uh, looks very embarrassed and darts a look quickly between the head inspector and Tom. Um, and produces just like a little oh uh, I guess it's basically like a little bracelet, um, and just kind of holds it up and says, uh, "This is just a tracking bracelet. This is standard policy for psychics on the station. If you don't mind."
Saoirse's gonna look beyond, like, she's just gonna look furious.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. You want him to wear a tracking bracelet? You don't think there's going to be 20 people up his rear every second he's on this ship?
The assistant looks like really uncertainly over at the the head inspector, and he just gives a wide-eyed look back and shrugs. Sure, that's fine. Don't. And he waves dismissively at the assistant. Uh, yeah. I, and he cuts off mid-sentence and nods along. Okay.
Saoirse is just
Yes, of course.
5'2" of fuming anger.
He's apparently responding to uh, thoughts from Tom, and just seems extremely bewildered, um, and then just starts motioning. Yeah. All right. Come on, uh, everyone through. Uh, shouldn't keep the ambassador waiting. And just kind of looks shell shocked for the next minute or two as everyone else passes through the inspection point.
Oh.
Saoirse will attempt to telepathically. She still has connection with Tom, right?
Yeah, he's typically connected to her when they're in these sorts of situations.
She's going to let him know you need to stay close to me.
He responds, "Thank you, Saoirse. I wouldn't have guessed."
Was that sarcasm from Tom?
She would have turned and looked at him over her shoulder with an eyebrow raised and thought very clearly, wouldn't have guessed what.
He just bares his teeth and gives a single emphatic clack. Uh,
She creates a mental image of herself having the same teeth and clacking back.
He just puts a hand on her shoulder and gives her just a gentle nudge forward and follows along. Yeah, I think Ethan found the right one.
So that's her
Found the right
bouncer
spot.
outfit.
Where is it?
Is that the one that you were wanting her wearing? Well, that Saoirse was wanting her to wear.
Session chat.
No, it was like, yeah, that was it. Yay! I
Okay.
didn't see it in session chat. That was the one.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I went through along the way and saved any labeled outfits.
Oh, nice.
Thank you
Good
so
man.
much. Because I could not find what channel they had been posted in.
Yeah, I
MVP
think a
right
bunch
there.
were in session chat. I think some
Makes
others may
sense,
be on
yeah.
landing pad and some in OOC chat.
Oh man, and I tried going through like I think it was out of character planning, and I could not get too far back, or I wanted to pound my head into the wall because it was like, oh man, the minutia of everything we had to discuss back then.
Oh, you can do a bit of scrubbing I found now by doing the in channel and then has image.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So that's my current technique. Digging up all the info.
All right,
And
so
just
everyone
rolling back
has
through all the pictures.
nice. Yeah, everyone has cleared the inspection. Liz accepted her bracelet without any objection or fuss. Um,
Oh, now she decides not to be sassy.
She knows how to
What?
pick her fights. We're not as intimidating as a frigate that's, boarded with them.
Mhm. She definitely does not look pleased about it, but she's keeping her mouth shut. And a 5-minute walk later, making your way through the station, passing uh, some attempts at sort of like food stalls and stuff. Um, but they don't seem they seem sort of like government issued sort of stuff, and it has an air of unfinished about it. There are a couple places that are um, a couple spaces that are unoccupied, um, and but you're led to a pretty large room, some sort of conference room that um, has plenty of seating for everyone and a large table in the middle of the room. It's almost got like stepped, bl- not bleacher seating, but like auditorium style seating, um, and probably seat around 100 people in total. There are the large table down in the center has quite a number of seats and is already occupied by uh, one individual who is kind of sitting in front of a small Anagran flag. It's like one of those little table place uh, holder things on the in front of her spot. Um, but an assistant welcomes you in and starts getting everyone situated and seated. Um, there are they start getting little name plates and things situated for those of you who are going to be sitting around the big round table, planning to be active participants in the discussion. And let me see here. Uh, let's see, we're at 10:40. Um, shortly after your arrival, as you're all getting situated in those couple minutes, um, several others enter the meeting room and take their places along with some of their attendants around the table. And before long, everyone's in place. Let me just go do a quick. I guess they would do a quick round of introductions around the table. Um, the woman who had been seated, prepared when you arrived, uh, introduces herself as. Let me put this in session chat for your reference. Miho Takahashi, the representative of Anagris. Um, in the next spot around the table is a rather large man who is he's he is dressed formally, but has accented it with some sort of animal skin, uh, like half cloak type thing around his shoulders. Um, he's introduced as Chief Knut Arvidsson of Foreign Relations for Harvario.
Hmm. Ah, right, right.
And the next seat around, looking fairly disinterested and actually inspecting her long, glossy nails at the time, is a very elaborately made up woman who's only introduced as Sasha, representing Loinuda.
That was the AI place, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
It was also, as Nero would Nero would probably just remember this much about it, that it is, it's like the premier producer of holovids in the Ikumen Arm sector.
Yeah, I think she would, because if I remember right, a lot of the holovids were created by AI, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that's basically what she would associate that entire world with is, yeah, they made movies by some computer thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she knows the term AI. I don't think she really grasps all that it means, though.
Yeah, that's very likely. Um, most modern citizens probably don't really understand what
It's
the
true.
AIs entail.
Very true.
No. She would speak up after she's introduced and just say, this is so boring. Can we get this over with? This limiter is driving me crazy."
Yep, thought so.
This what is driving me crazy?
Limiter.
She is
Oh,
obviously a Mustang.
gotcha.
She just really wishes she could unleash the fullest of her decibels on the room. I actually don't even know if that's what a limiter does.
No, it caps your speed.
But, yeah, no, I was like, that's not a muffler. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it prevents her from going insane as an AI.
How rude of us to limit her so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's not die.
yeah, Cade might be a little confused by that and wonder if she's conflating terms there. Because he would, uh, yeah, he would expect if he's putting two and two together here, um, he would expect any AI to be braked. Um, he doesn't necessarily know what terms they would use to describe that innate parts, but uh, but yeah, that's that. And then I guess you guys are able to introduce yourselves. Are you gonna have just one or two of you speak on behalf of your crew, or are you gonna have pretty much everybody have a seat at the table
Oh
and
shoot.
be engaged in the conversation?
Um,
They they seem open to whatever. There are enough spaces around, so there doesn't seem to be any
yeah.
the only consequences are the consequences of allowing said people into the conversation.
Yeah.
About that. Um, yeah, I'm not sure about that actually. What do you guys think?
I mean, Cade can pull up any sort of material y'all want from the archived information. He doesn't have to
Saoirse,
speak.
yeah, Saoirse would have definitely taken a seat. Um, and
You broke up a bit because all I heard was and then a pause and then and
no,
then.
that was just a pause.
Okay.
What I
Sorry.
was going to what I was going to say is, does she need to introduce herself before she sits down? But he's still going.
It's up to you guys if you want to do in character introductions, or if you just want to tell me how you would introduce yourself.
Um, I kind of think. So, if I'm understanding this right, the basic question is, do we all get to speak, or do only some of us get to speak, right?
Correct.
And what would the consequences be of us choosing only some of us get to speak, and then those of us that were not introduced as being able to speak, speaking?
I think it would be similar to United Nations, where when someone speaks, they would ask for permission to speak, they'd be introduced, and then they would go on.
Okay. That actually sounds like a good starting point. Just to kind of move it along. Why don't we start off with the captains and heads of state as the speakers, and then allow further designation of a speaker if needed.
I like that idea. Does anyone else have a problem with it?
Sounds good.
I think that'll work.
Okie dokie then.
And that way we don't have the problem with Nero introducing herself and staring across the table at the Havarian as she says, "From Phyllis."
uh, he, yeah, the the chief across the table there he would he would do a double take and give her a sharp look, a very a very wow, I cannot words
No,
tonight.
that's he was saying that's keeping her from doing it, right?
Yeah, that prevents her
Oh,
from that
He does
from
not
happening.
actually say that.
No,
okay, okay,
no,
okay. Sorry, I misheard what you said there. I was
yeah,
like, oh boy, sweet.
no.
Tension. Okay.
Exactly what this table needs. Tension.
Yeah. Okay, so once more for the record, Saoirse is being introduced as a speaker for the crew. Anyone
I would
else?
assume Brother Nick as well.
Okay, Brother Nick.
Saoirse will simply, before she takes a seat, will say, Captain Wilo speaking on behalf of the ship Prudence. We have been ferrying for the Anagrians and also for the Urolans. We have also done our fair share of information work on Tabuk, and we will be speaking on that as well. I bring with me what was Tom's Gakari name?
Oh, did we? I don't
So,
believe he gave one. I think
He
somebody
did, but
had.
it was just chittering.
Yeah, it was. It didn't really. He hadn't really worked out a way to translate it. Um, let me see
She
here.
would wave her arm over to Tom, who's next to her,
Okay.
and say, "This is my friend who comes as the representative of the Qatari people. His name is not easily translated into common, and so please refer to him as Tom for the time being. He is also a telepath, which will make communicating with him much easier when you don't have to try and get it to talk around the mandibles."
Both the Harvarian representative and uh, the Anagran representative look uncomfortable at the mention of telepathy. Um, and uh, Miho will speak up and say, "Is he not able to speak mandate or use a translator, perhaps?"
I don't believe a translator would work, as his people's language has not been studied close enough to be easily translated. If you are all not comfortable with opening yourselves up to the telepathy that is common to his people as communication, then I myself will be glad to act as his mouthpiece.
She nods. "Yes, I believe that would be best.
I also have
She
with me Brother Nick, and she'll motion to Brother Nick, who has been invaluable as we've made our way through the massive information of the various crimes that Tabuk has enacted upon Yarola as well as other worlds,
oh,
as well as crimes that they plan to commit.
a man of the church is always welcome. And she says back to Sirsha, I do believe that perhaps in time, and she looks over to Tom now, once we know more, we could make arrangements to make telepathic connections, but uh, under such short notice, I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Saoirse will give a curt nod of understanding. And then she'll go to take her seat, showing she's done speaking. And then she'll look to Commander Caldwell, or General Caldwell. Is it Commander or General?
General.
General. Thank you.
Yeah, he'll introduce himself as you know him, and he uh, will also introduce Bishop. Um, say, I, General Richard Caldwell, represent the uh, what remains of Uralan military that has not bowed the knee to Tabuk, and His Holiness. Ouch, sorry. His Holiness represents uh, the Church of Vothux, the freedmen specifically, and will be which represent the governing body of Urala. And the bishop stands and gives a bow to the entire table and acknowledges Caldwell's introduction. And Tom then would ask both Saoirse and Brother Nick in their minds which of them would like to be his mouthpiece to the assembly.
Who asks that?
Tom,
Tom does that.
sorry, you cut out a little there. What'd you say?
Saoirse had already said she'd be willing to be his mouthpiece, but if somebody else is.
Yeah, it seems like he had wanted to give Brother Nick the option as well. So
I'm
he.
good with letting Saoirse do it.
Okay. Very good. Hmm. Excuse me. All right, so um, Tom just he doesn't have much to say, but he asks that Saoirse convey his greetings to the assembly and his that he represents the Chikari currently in hiding from their former masters, the Tabukans, and hopes to establish amiable relations with all that he comes across. And so the table is open. Um, the Miho will make some kind of introductory remarks, uh, taking dibs as the first speaker, and she essentially lays out the current state of the uh, the system as it pertains to it it being a neighbor to Urala. Um, and broad strokes, she lays out the fact that uh, they've been able to assess the military strength of Tabuk and regard it as a severe threat, at least potential, and uh, that discovery had accelerated the pace of negotiations with Harvario and Lohenuda as the two most relevant and uh, powerful governments in the nearby vicinity uh,
Hmm.
to form the the coalition of independent systems, CIS. And what the
Sorry, you just reminded me earlier today. Hannah was banging on the door and she went. "Oh." I was like, "Who taught you?"
sorry,
You said when you said the CIS, it cracked me up because so
sorry, you cut out a little. What did she say?
she was knocking on the door and she went. I think she was trying to say FBI, open up,
Mm-hmm.
but she said some garble of F and then a bunch of other letters and then I. And I was just like, who taught you this?
I couldn't decide which three-letter agency I wanted to be a part of, so I chose all of them.
Yeah. um.
Now, what did that stand for again? I got lost in the Star Wars reference.
Yeah, my bad. Coalition of independent systems. And
Great. Did I drop out again?
maybe
We can hear you.
I hear you now.
Great. Just keep going.
I don't know if you're like too far from the Wi-Fi hotspot to get good.
Downstairs on the couch.
Yeah, to get good consistent uh signal or what, but it's not working great.
Yeah.
Um. Basically, she outlines that their coalition, they don't have any sort of unified government or anything like that, but they have some. There's like a non-aggression pact and um, kind of a mild defense pact and some other basic benefits of being uh, favored by each other. Um, but it's nothing like the vassalship that Tabuk requires, apparently, of its systems. And she she also indicates that none of the members has there's not a foremost member of the coalition, but um, generally the whoever is the hosting system kind of takes the lead in terms of organization and facilitation, that sort of thing. But anyway, then she turns the table over to uh, the cause for the meeting, and wants to know what you're bringing before the council, essentially, and leaves it open to either the the crew of the Prudence or the Rollins, or Tom, for that matter. Now, I guess I will say we are coming pretty close to the end of the session. Um, I don't know. Do you guys want to go ahead and just dive in character and see how far we get, or do you want to take a different tack?
Hmm.
Oh, that's really hard.
Because I'm by no means going to rush you guys through any of this. I just wanted to make the reminder that we've got 20-ish minutes.
I'd
What do
be,
you guys think?
yeah, I'd be happy to sit here while we jump into it. I mean, I'm in for the listening.
I mean, I suppose we could at least lay the groundwork of background slash what we're planning or what we would like to put forward to the council, I guess. Because we can also hand wave some of the whole background of it.
Yeah, you guys don't need to necessarily spell out every detail of what you want to convey. Um, you can put that kind of in broader terms.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, and in my opinion, I think it would be wise to kind of start with that background, but then immediately pitch it as it's in the sector's interest to balance out Tabuk.
Okay.
And the actions they planned on Urala are indicative of things that they may have done before and may be willing to do again. I guess we could start there. If that makes sense to y'all.
I don't hear any objections.
Yeah, I don't have any objection.
Okay. So, so Saoirse is going to start by giving kind of an overview of the kind of the broad strokes timeline of Urala getting, blockaded off and eventually invaded and taken over. Um, and playing up the imperialistic nature of Tabuk, I guess.
She would then segue over to, meanwhile, in our system, we were asked to explore a ship from which many crews had not returned,
Mm,
and then tell them what we found aboard the ship.
okay.
That hadn't been told to Tom previously, correct?
I think we had, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom
Okay.
was in the loop about that. Um, so he was made aware.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. So Saoirse ties in uh, that very fortunate mishap, um, and ties it into the Tabukan government, and
You're then asked to use the rudder to jump and try and discover more about the ship and what had been on the ship.
okay. Uh, so through the description of recent Uralan history and Tabuk's overstepping, um, just the kind of the surface level reactions that you note. Um, Sasha doesn't seem phased by that at all. Um, Knut, similarly, and although he does seem to tune in a little bit more at mentions of Tabuk's aggressive maneuverings, their invasion, um, and Miho does actually seem more sympathetic to at the description of the invasion and uh, the space battle over the planet. As you turn to describing the bioweapon and the experiments that were being done on Tabuk, and start getting into your intervention there on behalf of the Uralans, or on the behest, at the behest of the Uralans, everyone is much more engaged.
Mm.
Sasha's seeming more interested than necessarily concerned, but both Knut and Miho both they are concern is apparent on their faces.
Yeah, she's going to make sure that it is apparent that when we found Tom during one of our attempts for more information, one of our operations, um, that he had been in stasis, and that upon waking had very fuzzy memories.
Mm. Okay. So will Tom will just let Saoirse know that uh, he appreciates the direction she's taking and agrees with her description of it, and just asks her to also explain the fact that um, they discovered that the Tabukans had been experimenting with them and had enslaved him and his kind, the
Mm-hmm.
Chikari, and were using them against their will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she'll definitely um, give that information. But pretty, and she'll say, "And um, my peer here, Tom, would like me to explain the following," and she would then ask him to speak in the Gakari language, but also to transmit his thoughts telepathically, so that it was obvious that she was speaking.
Okay. Yeah, so he'll basically
Guessing
dictate to her.
mandibles start clacking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some chittering of mouthpieces and mandibles clacking. Um, and Brother Nick is Brother Nick is able to uh, follow along pretty well, um, despite the fact that he's not getting the direct transmission of Tom's thoughts. Um, and as even as Saoirse then repeats what Tom says, um, with her with the benefit of the transmission for her, everyone in the room is glued to Tom, eyes glued to him, and after you finish, Newt asks, "So you freed some of these others like Tom?"
Reed, maybe too generous of a word for what we did. But we
Yeah.
did the best we could in the interest of the Gakari people, as well as those surrounding them, with what they had been trained to do, much against their will. We did not feel it safe to keep them on board our ship, to keep them inbound to Yarala. We did not want them to fall back into the hands of the extremist groups, the Sons of Glory. So we were able to find a planet that was uninhabited. And oddly enough, though it won't make much sense to you all, it is highly radiated. And though we had to take many anti-rav medicines, Tom's
Andrew,
people.
gonna say as Saoirse starts to describe more about the system, um, Tom interjects um, very strongly in her mind, "Please, don't tell them too much. We had."
She'll pause and look at him and then pivot and say, "It is uninhabitable to humans. We can only be on the planet for short amounts of time. And so we felt it best to let the Gakari have that space, that they would be safe there and that they would not cause harm, as the Tabukans had intended to use them. We were attempting to give their fate back into their own hands."
Hmm. Okay. Give me probably a talk check from Saoirse.
Can't convince you to let it be a lead check.
Hmm.
She's been very leadery this whole session.
um, that's true. That's fair. She's trying to project that sense of authority and kind of a "don't ask me too closely about this."
Don't ask me to explain why I made the decision I did.
Yeah, kind of vibe. Okay.
Can I help her talking with my talking?
Okay, so take a
Dang.
modifier of 1, Danielle, when you roll the lead check.
Love Brother Nick. And what attribute do you want me to use for that? Intelligence or wisdom? What?
Mm, it could be wisdom. Hmm.
8 out of 12.
Okay, so
Not the worst, but she's still new at this.
yeah, so Sasha actually speaks up and has kind of a uh what's the right term for her look? Um kind of a disgust, like a slightly disgusted look on her face, and says, "Okay, but how do we know that these aliens aren't gonna get off that planet and come do their alien stuff that Tabuk was trying to do? Just because their planet is irradiated doesn't mean they can't come to us, right?" And Knut, uh, he rolls his eyes slightly, but nods in agreement. Uh, Mio has a guarded look on her face. But she will chime in as well. Uh, yes, please do explain. Do they have any sort of stellar travel ability, or are they bound to that planet for now? And in which system is this uninhabited planet?
Saoirse would emphasize, we did not leave them with any traversing ships. No ships, in fact. To be quite honest, it is with some regret that we left them the bare bones that they needed for survival. It
And
is a testament to the strength of the Gikari that that should be enough for them. They will not need to get off that planet because it is not their wish to go off planet. We did not leave them the means to do so, but more importantly, this was Tabuk's plan, not theirs. So before you go talking about doing alien things, make sure you keep in mind who it was that was wanting to destroy an entire planet's worth of people. It wasn't him, and she's going to point at Tom, or his people. It was people who looked very much like yourself, people sitting at this table. It's not always the ones with fangs that are going for your throat. And you need to keep that in mind before you go pointing your finger at who might be planning dangerous things.
okay, give me a talk check after
Shoot,
that with
I'm not good at
charisma.
talk. My character isn't built for that. Okay. Talk. Submit. Charisma. 0 modifier. Terrible.
Oh
Come
no!
on. I would have preferred a perform check.
Yeah, I'm sure she would have. Um,
I
okay.
also, this is when I wish that we had like an inspiration die, like in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, that makes the that makes it a lot more explicit. Um, I I end up kind of tweaking difficulty checks for things behind the scenes for that sort of for the same reason that you would give out inspiration dice. Um, so
I also feel like I gave a well structured argument, and I hate that my character who's not made for talking and her poor role determined the effectiveness of it. So.
Well,
But it's
so
just, I mean, that's part of a game where you're rolling dice. So
and I will just give the reminder generally for the group to remember. Don't necessarily take me asking for a skill check as every aspect of how this is about to go will rest on this one die roll and either be success or abject failure. Um, I I don't necessarily spell out the stakes of every single skill check, partly because that would just take a lot of time. Um, Also because I like there to be just a little bit of mystery to that. But allow me to explain the aftermath of those somewhat scathing the somewhat scathing rebuke she just gave. Um, Miho again with a guarded look gives a small nod in agreement. Um, Knut gives Saoirse an appraising look, and Sasha just
rolls her eyes.
I need to oh
She sounds like a tween, like an angsty teenager tweenager.
Oh no, even worse, she's a 19-year-old who hasn't had
let's see. Where is the
has daddy's credit card.
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
We all know exactly who I'm talking. I'm actually not referencing a specific person. I just know we've all met that one person.
There's only one?
In every group, in every
yeah.
every college campus, there is one.
Pretty sure there's more than that on just a college campus, but okay.
At least one.
Yeah, she gives you basically that look, of kind of an offended look.
She
And
gives me a what offended look.
yes,
That's a great. I love that joke.
yeah. If she had a compad, she would be literally doing that, holding it like, ugh, and then just like look back at it. But she gives you that look, and then kind of like visibly blows you off and goes back to looking at her nails. Um, and you just barely make out across the table. I muttered, whatever. um, I was going to say, so as Saoirse was giving that speech, Tom, about the time she said, they don't intend to leave the planet. He would try to communicate both to her and Brother Nick, and uh, he would by now rope Cade and Cade Nero and Java in this as well. What I, w- I wouldn't shut that wouldn't shut down that possibility, though I sense this is not the right time to bring that up. Uh, Perhaps we'll need to discuss that more later. And then as she continues talking about the bare necessities she left his people, he'll pipe in again and say, "Yes, I believe it would bear some discussion of what else could be provided for my people. There are many things that could."
Saoirse will have her compad, or does she have any kind of like paper or pen or anything?
Yeah, she could take notes on her compad or
Right.
do whatever she's going
She'll pull an obvious like new window off to the side and
Mhm.
type on it things to discuss later, and then she'll put a dash and put all dash of dash that, and then just like slide the tab over to Tom, just like a not now kind of.
he glances at it and then just gives her a single sharp clack, and then
Does that actually mean anything in his language, or is he just playfully making noises at her?
yeah, it kind of does. It's a it's basically like an okay, but a little bit more um like there are definitely shades to it that she probably doesn't understand. Not well,
Is it like
she
a harumph
does.
kind of fine?
Yeah, it is, and I should clarify. She actually does understand that because she's got that. Wait, wait. Let me double check something. I'm jumping the gun here.
Oh my stars.
I think I'm confusing with what Damza had because uh, telepathic connection does grant. There's a version of it that grants the the linguistic understanding.
Yeah.
But that's only yeah, it's only for the telepath. Um, it doesn't benefit the other, like the recipient of the connection.
No.
Um, so brother Nick, brother Nick picks up on the nuance to that. Um, but and Saoirse could maybe uh, it's possible she could get some idea. He means something more to that than just the usual okay. Um, yeah, she can definitely do some inference by context. Um, all right, so all right, pulling up on 11:30. Um, I think so. So there's Saoirse's given her rebuke, and it's it's apparent to anyone who is watching the reactions of those present closely um, that uh, that was definitely uh, a controversial spiel that
Mhm.
had mixed results. Um, and Caldwell is not exactly fidgeting, but looking uh, a little just a bit anxious, and he's
Yeah, Saoirse would
exchanging looks with the bishop as well.
gladly give the floor to General Caldwell, but she would also want to give the following points before she sat down.
Okay.
She would say the Gakari's planet is currently in the Uralans system.
The sector at Nunya.
Okay.
And she would say currently Urala is the only point of connection between their system and ours.
That
And
might
if
be a little too much info, though. They could still find that.
no, they know, they know. Oh, you're saying telling them which system it's in?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
All
saying
right.
telling them that the detail narrows it
They know
down a
it's an
little too much.
irradiated planet, and they know that it's in another
Yeah.
system. Yeah, that's
They
fair.
got
Yeah.
no info.
So we can tell them it's not in their system. That we've been asked to not share. That we have decided not to share that information until peaceable relations towards Tom's people has been established.
And they wouldn't survive the blockade anyway.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I would want to wrap up and make my points very similar to what we had discussed on the ship, because I want to get this through. That I've
Okay.
made the moral reasons for doing so and by giving this back. But the pragmatic reasons for doing so I would want to share is that Urala is a buffer state between Tabuk and their system, because currently their sector's only access point to this sector is through Urala. Urala is an amazing place full of medical advancement and has much to offer and would be an amazing partner if we could help them. And we also need to stop the continued attempted use of Maltech weapons by Tabuk.
Okay.
And then I would introduce General Caldwell and ask that, they give him their attention.
Okay. Yeah, let's see here. So, I think that's a good stopping point. Yeah, because it's already past 11:30, and if I start trying to summarize, even to summarize Caldwell's input or
Feel
any of their
free to
responses.
share it in the Discord, man. We're
You guys
now
want-
at next session.
You guys want to do that? Do you want me? Do you want to? Do you want me to present the summary of maybe the next round of responses from the NPCs in the situation
I'm just
offline?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that actually sounds like it makes sense. I mean, it's not like I don't think any of us are going to interrupt Caldwell, and it would end up just being you talking and then you
Mhm.
reacting to you talking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he
and
does that all the time.
Oh, I know.
I say
I'm trying to
I do.
help you break him of it.
Yeah, I do plenty of that as it is. When there are more NPCs in the room than there are PCs, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, 'cause as long as you guys are enjoying it, I'm game, but I definitely don't want to just drone on with that.
Yeah, see if you can write it up for us, and we'll all make sure we've read it before the next session. Right?
Okay, sounds good. I'll give you guys a write-up. It shouldn't be too lengthy. I don't know exactly when I'll be able to have it done. Uh, I will shoot for having it done by early Friday or something, so that you guys have
Excuse me.
a day or so to look it over um, before the soft cutoff for uh, out of character planning input.
Yep.
Um,
So many emotes.
So little
yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right, let's wrap up here. Let's get faves.
My brain is dead at this point.
Let's see. Oh, I did not. I
Who was
guess
first last time?
it was you, so I think
Oh.
that means it's Dex this time.
Oh, well, I don't think I can. I should be held to that because you did not asterisk me in advance.
Oh my word!
Oh, did I
Take
not?
that.
Hey, that's revisionist history.
What? What are you talking about? I see an
I saw the
asterisk.
edit. I saw the
I
edit.
saw the edit.
We can even all see the time of the edit.
Wait.
I doubt. I highly doubt what you guys are saying. That sounds very suspicious.
Don't be toxic, Ben.
Oh dear. Anyway,
Okay.
Dex, are
Bottom
you up
line,
for it tonight?
who's going to who's
Oh,
going to tell me what their favorites are?
he already did.
Oh,
Oh
did he?
no, I was just pointing out the edit.
Okay.
the time of the edit.
Fake news.
Fake news. Wow.
No, I didn't write anything down this time. And I don't want to just say the cake scene again because
That was obviously your last favorite.
yeah, clearly as I just pointed out.
You're just
Yeah,
here for the cake.
that'll get you a demerit.
Careful,
Actually no,
he'll
I think I'm good.
asterisk you twice.
Um, I think the revised hamster wheel attempt,
Oh
while
my.
not perfect, it was it was fun to see Nero not like just athletically lord over it,
Mm-hmm.
and also to display that she's pretty dang tenacious.
Mm-hmm. You know, something silly like physics and reality get in her way.
I know. Yeah. So, thank you for that opportunity. That's my fave.
You're welcome. That
No,
was
I wasn't thanking you. I was thanking Danielle. Nice try, though.
garbage. So close. All right. Ethan then.
Saoirse's clap back to the Confederate pupils.
Yeah, that was quite well worded.
It was. And that quote is fantastic.
Yeah, getting deep.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. I've been honing my improv skills slowly these past 2 years.
Mm. Yeah, I was gonna say that is made more impressive by the fact that it was improv. All right, Robert.
I think my fave at this point is just the fact that we're finally here. We've
Yeah.
been talking about this eventual part of the plan for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so weird to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've made a lot of progress, and it doesn't feel like it in this one session of hey, we got super far, but like considering what it took to get here, like made good progress.
Yeah, it's you're in a room with almost all the movers and shakers, at least all the ones that don't want to immediately kill you.
For now.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Ugh. Just shameless. Can't believe you guys sometimes. Avery.
Tough one for me. I'm gonna go with the, I guess, being able to get us to the port much faster than expected was kind of interesting for me, particularly because like of the comment that I was able to drop the this is the nicest ship that I've ever piloted. Um, and particularly what that means for Java and his unexplored uh, origins, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see. What's that?
Yeah, Saoirse did definitely make a mental note of like talk to Java about exactly what ships he has piloted later.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad glad you're continuing that drip of hints and information like that. 'Cause I think that'll be a fun thing to explore for the group. Uh, and there are a lot of backstories, but only a couple of them are actually being actively explored. So that'll be fun.
I think it'll
Um,
be particularly fun for you to deal
yeah,
with.
I am. I definitely get a grin on my face every time Java has to, interact with some situation. I'm like, oh boy, how's he gonna do this?
But I mean, like, especially with him being such a good pilot, I feel like there's probably a pretty good chance that people know about him. At some point, he's going to meet someone who does.
Yeah, he's not a nobody, which may have just become much more apparent to some of the crew, um, if they put that together. Um, for me, I think my favorite, um, uh, it it's I think it's gotta be uh I think it's gotta be the standoff at the security checkpoint.
I forgot
Um,
about that.
I,
Too.
that
Yeah.
was that was definitely
Guys,
my it
I think
it
I just blacked out and Saoirse took over for this session, and I'm just now waking up. Um,
um yeah, it's it's closely followed by the um by the continued misunderstanding between Nero and Java and Brother Nick. Um, and
yeah.
I did enjoy the fact that Victor got pulled into that, at least slightly. Um, but there were just so many things at this checkpoint. There was um, you know, there was Nero like being obtuse, unintentionally so, but obtuse about the restrictions. There was Saoirse getting offended on behalf of Tom multiple times. There was Brother Nick trying to, pass off the feeble old man act and
Oh
get,
man, yeah.
getting the stink eye from the inspector for it.
Oh.
Um, uh, so yeah, it was just there was
So
so much there.
much. Yeah, there was a lot.
I was not expecting that much eventfulness at that. I was expecting that to go uh, relatively uneventfully, but that's what I get for expecting things.
I want to change my favorite because I
Oh
forgot
no.
about
Okay.
that too.
Okay.
And even my own little words on it. Tonight is the night of Saoirse getting everything she wants with mean looks.
Scathing remarks.
So while the revised hamster wheel was still fun, that checkpoint was a great scene.
True. So you want to replace that? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I need to find a way to level up her talk skill.
Or
The
what
which
skill?
skill?
Talk.
Oh.
Just in all honesty, because there's so many times that she has to speak on behalf of the crew.
Mhm. Yeah, and that opportunity will definitely come. Although I will say, I think it adds some fun, or it fits her flavor to an extent that she is, you know, I guess the angle that it ends up uh, portraying is that it doesn't mean that she can't put words together in a in sometimes a compelling or like a logical way, but it ends up, uh, I guess, representing how caustically she tends to come across,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that can tend to uh, not always necessarily undermine the message she's trying to convey, but it definitely colors it, and it affects the way that people react to it. So obviously, I'm not gonna. I won't. I would never stop you from putting points into it, but I think it makes it interesting sometimes to see. Okay, is she, eh, as she's kind of she's tearing into these people, um, you know, how bad is it? How badly are they going to take it? um, let's see. Did I? Okay, yeah, I edited that already. Then yeah, let's get to you, and then we can officially end the session.
Oh, man. I spent an inordinate amount of time trying to choose an outfit, and then I never shared it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So the irony of that is probably my favorite from this session. No, my favorite from this session is how Serja had to actually step up to the captain's plate. uh, I think that's it.
Okay.
It's a struggle, but she's trying her best.
Mm-hmm.
My best, Tom. I do my best.
Yeah.
So I will say, oh no, I take it back. If I were going with a specific non-cop out answer, I would say the telepathic banter between her and Tom.
Okay.
Like him being like, yeah, we really need to talk about that, by the way, the bare bones supplies that you've left my people, and like completely cut off the never leaving, the irradiated planet with a hostile space station hovering above it, like we'll table it. We'll talk about it later. It's fine. Just you're busy. We'll grab we'll grab some mimosa. It'll be great. We'll brunch it out.
I mean, we did have so many choices to choose from.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys had probably half a dozen other potential destinations you could have checked out. Drop them on the former Coruscant planet. That'll
Yeah.
work out nicely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, that would have worked out so super well.
Yeah.
Guessing it was just named Om Nom Nom.
Breaking news. The planet Clitavos was recently renamed by its new masters.
Here.
No, well, thank you everyone. I thoroughly enjoyed the session tonight. You did too. To anyone listening, thank you and continue doing so, supporting Dex and all that he does. And I think with that, everyone take 1 XP, posted that, and we will
Yay.
consider that the official end of the session.
All right.